And welcome back to Guys with AIDS, the only reality show about guys with AIDS. Let's meet our contestants.
What's up, man? I'm Bunghole Steve, and I've got AIDS, bruh. Yo, 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 it's John Cheetos, and I'm the inventor of Cheetos, and I'm HIV positive, yo. Howdy, partner. I'm Jebediah Peckerhead, and I done got the AIDS. Hi, I'm Magic Johnson, no relation, and I have AIDS. Wait, this is the AIDS show? I thought this was the cuckold show. Oh, damn. My wife's boyfriend is gonna be real mad about this. No, honey, it was the wrong show. Can you tell Tyrone to pick me up? Are you gonna 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 pick me up? Yo, who the fuck is MattCMG?
What the fuck is up, paisanos? It's me, your boy, MattCMG, and today let's talk about reality shows. You guys know me, right? I'm more of a fiction type of guy because I want nothing more than to escape the boring hellscape that is real life. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to deny the appeal of reality shows. It's a genre that has gotten increasingly trashy over the years, and there's something appealing about that to the average person who gets unironically invested in them, or to the people who watch them ironically, knowing full well it's a bunch of loosely scripted bullshit. For me, though, I just can't get into them. I mean, I've seen my fair share of Duck Dynasty and Pawn Stars, but only through osmosis because my dad would just have it on in the background a lot of the time when I was a kid. Everything I know about reality shows has been against my will. However, come 2023, and my tune would actually change a little bit. Enter fishtanklive. For the uninitiated, fishtanklive is an internet-based reality show created by comedian and internet provocateur Sam Hyde and his crew over at $1 Million Extreme. The premise of the show is pretty simple. You take a bunch of 20-somethings, you lock them in a house together with no phones or internet access, you put them through crazy elimination challenges, have cameras monitoring them 24/7, with the last person standing winning a big cash prize. It's an age-old concept, right? Big Brother pioneered this like years ago, but the difference is that this one is live.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Viewers have free reign to view any camera in the house at any time. You know, it's like Five Nights at Freddy's, so there is no moment that goes unseen by the audience. I don't think that anything like this has ever really been done before, especially on an independent level, and it's one of the many things that got me hooked in the show from the very start. So grab your Bibles and your plushies, smash that motherfucking like button like your name was Jason Goldstriker, and join me as we take a dive into the fish tank. I'm underwater now. I'm gay. I'm underwater and I'm gay. I'm gay.
I am not gay.
So, first things first, let's meet our contestants. Now, I'm not gonna stand here and just read their fucking entire bios because that'd be boring as shit, so I'll give you guys the short version. The show began with 8 fish in the tank. Violetta, Simmons, Sylvia, Josie, Morrow, Jonathan, Vance, and Daniel. Something that is made clear from the very beginning and is yet another very unique thing about this show: all of the contestants are severely autistic. Each of these people are just weird in some way, so the fun comes from seeing their eccentricities and how they interact with each other. The Autism Hype House.
Autism Hype House.
The most normal of the bunch were definitely Vance and Morrow, even though Morrow was fat and gay. The most normal of the bunch were definitely Vance and Morrow, but the rest of them all had something weird about them. Violetta, or Letty as the fans call her, seemed like a typical girl at first, but later turned out to be a little more two-faced than she let on, kind of falling into this villain role in the group, and for whatever reason had a really weird thing for bodily fluids. She got the femcel phenotype. Simmons was a bit older than the rest and was always trying to get the whole group together to do improv or other team-building activities or some gay shit like that, but his overenthusiasm often clashed a lot with the other fish who were much more laid back. Sylvia was bold and outspoken and didn't really take anybody's shit. Also, she does OnlyFans, do what you will with that information. Josie quickly became a fan favorite due to her constant stimming and repetition of simple tasks, which fans found really endearing. Our autistic queen. Based. Shouts out my real blokes. Another fan favorite was John, an Andrew Tate fanboy who had everything to back it up, except for the fact that he has an extreme speech impediment and is prone to angry outbursts. And lastly is Daniel, an ironic memer who seems to always be ready to please the fans. This was a pretty diverse bunch, and each of them have some kind of appeal, even if it is for the complete wrong reasons. But there's also another catch. 2 of these contestants are plants from the producers. That's right, folks, it seems that there is an imposter among us. Some of the early appeal of the show came from fans trying to figure out who the plants were, and one of the 2 was definitely a lot better at hiding it than the other. Fans were quick to notice that Daniel could often be seen looking at a small rectangle, which could have been mistaken for a stack of fish bucks, but was very clearly a phone, implying that he either snuck it in or was allowed to have it by the producers. That being said, it seemed like the idea of there being a plant was completely abandoned about halfway through, when it could have probably added some kind of tension to some of the later moments.
Ever call the imposter from Among Us after 3 a.m.? The imposter from Among?
In being a project by Sam Hyde, though, you gotta expect some insanity. Say what you will about the guy, but one thing's for damn sure, and it's that he knows how to put on a show. Granted, much of the actual show-running duties went to Jet Neptune, a newer member of MDE, and I'd say he did a rather good job on all fronts. But when Sam Hyde, I mean Jason Goldstriker, did show up to the tank, you knew that some funny shit was about to go down. He is an entertainer at his core, so he made sure that there was never a dull moment in the fish tank. Except for when he was streaming on his YouTube channel, but that's beside the point. This dude is a master at gaslighting, and he aimed to do so in a variety of ways. Of course, there were his frequent appearances within the tank, where when he wasn't dishing out challenges, he was just shooting the shit and subtly messing with the fish with his signature brand of subversive humor.
Hey wise guy, what's a big idea? Where's the ice cream in this joint?
But now let's get into the lore, right? Some of the crazy, insane shit that went down on the show, because it went off the rails way quicker than I expected it to. So, week 1, pretty basic for the most part. Most of the first week consisted of the fish just kind of mingling and getting to know each other, with a few low-stakes challenges. The fish were told to write essays and perform comedy sketches, and it resulted in some pretty funny moments. Simmons in drag and Daniel getting waterboarded were all pretty fucking funny, and there's some notable standout moments. It was entertaining, but it wasn't that crazy as of yet. Granted, waterboarding's pretty fucking insane, but you know, sure. I'd love to get waterboarded. I want a bitch to waterboard me. I want a bitch to waterboard the fuck out of my cock with her pussy. Her wet fucking stinker. Referring to a pussy as a stinker. Her fucking wet stinker. But come week 2, and shit starts to get a little crazy. During the week's challenge of taking care of fake babies, John and Simmons are paired up and devise a plan to take out all the other fish's babies to win the challenge. This caused some tension between them and Morrow, who believed that their tactics were unfair, which led to a lot of hatred towards Simmons specifically. At the same time that all of this was going down, viewers discovered that Simmons has written a book. But not just any book. A book in which he low-key kinda defends pedophilia.
Daddy fucking beautiful eating shit, you naughty boy.
When this was brought to the producer's attention, it was clear that something needed to be done about him. So, on the night of day 9, Jason Goldstriker made an unannounced appearance in the tank. At first, it appeared he just wanted to hang out, but he quickly starts reading aloud passages of Simmons' book, which makes him visibly uncomfortable. You could cut the tension in this room with a knife, and Mr. Goldstriker decided to break that tension by bluntly kicking Simmons off the show, which he does in perfect Mandarin.
Simmons, allow me to say something that you'll understand in your language. Okay. Translation, I'm kicking you off the show.
Okay.
Effective immediately, we'll be walking you out, taking you to a bus station in Fall River, and saying goodbye. You have 1.5 minutes to get your shit.
Chaos would later ensue, with John and Morrow specifically not taking the situation very well. Morrow seemed very distraught after all of the verbal arguments between him and John was super upset about siding with a pedophile. This was definitely a really fucked situation for all of the fish, because Simmons was somebody that they slept, ate, and hung out with for the past week, so to find out that he was a creep was taxing on everybody. That night, Simmons was kicked out, Morrow willingly left the tank and forfeited the competition, and Jet allowed the fish freedom from the cameras for the night. Shit was pretty fucking insane. That being said, I have to shit so bad. I have to fucking make diarrhea. Hang on. Pause. Oi, bruv. It's me, Stavros Halkias. Alright, I'm back from pooping. I probably need to do a rewipe, but I'm filming right now, alright? That being said, week 2 also had one of my favorite challenges, the cell, which had the remaining fish locked in one of the bedrooms together with various crazy shit going on to annoy them, with the last to leave winning the challenge. Said crazy shit consisted of John and Mr. Goldstriker working out while screaming at the top of their lungs, sharks coming in and out and fucking with them, and a barrage of TTS from viewers. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, one of the biggest appeals of the show was the viewer interaction, most of which came in the form of text-to-speech that would play on the speaker for all the fish to hear. There have been numerous times where I tuned in and it was just the fish chilling out and listening to the barrage of unhinged TTS messages.
Got this.
Another form of viewer interaction came in the form of fish toys. These were essentially just various ways to fuck with the fish when they weren't mid-challenge, and it resulted in some pretty funny shit. For a price, fans could hire the sharks to dump the trash cans all over the floor, or take away their beds for the night, and just generally mess with them. This is some hardcore gaslight. Some fish toys were a bit more wholesome though, with the loot crates and snack deliveries gifting the fish with goodies. Oh, please gift the goodies into my pussy. As the show went on, new fish toys were added that were specific to certain fish. There was the Scream at Letty award, where a shark would come in and just scream at Letty relentlessly while she just sits there and takes it. One of the more popular fish toys was Give Josie a Plushie, which is exactly what it sounds like. With how popular Josie became with fans, it's no wonder this girl ended up with a million of these fucking things. Alongside the fish toys, viewers could also purchase a season pass, which gave them access to things like the live chat, the ability to send TTS messages, access to the bathroom confessionals, as well as all archived footage. Personally, I wouldn't say that that's worth it for the price that it is, but that's probably because I'm a cheap bastard. But regardless, viewer interaction is a very big part of the show, and you can't really downplay that. But now let's move on to week 3, which brought on a variety of impersonation challenges to test the fish's acting abilities. First, they were each given a specific disability to pretend to have, with a standout being Vance having schizophrenia.
21st century schizoid man.
But come day 16, and fans and fish alike were all hit with some terrible news. Fan favorite John has made the decision to leave the tank.
Who's retarded?
After all of the insane John tent that we had been getting over the past couple weeks, this came as a shock to the fish and a devastating loss to the viewers. Everyone had grown to love John and his particular brand of craziness, and many fans thought he'd be a real contender for the winner, so him leaving was a major blow to the show. Unlike Simmons, who was unceremoniously kicked out, or Morrow, who left rather quietly, John's departure was super emotional. He has a big heart-to-heart with Vance, Josie is out here crying, even Sam Hyde's getting a little emotional. The top J was leaving, and with him all of his glorious John tent. The aftermath of this felt like when a character dies on a TV show. Like, it just felt wrong with them not being there, and everybody was just kind of coping in their own ways. My personal favorite that always fucking gets me is when a shark gives Josie a loot crate, and inside of it is a holy Bible, which John always carried around with him. The shit cuts deep, man. It's like Gurren Lagann when that character dies. No spoilers. Shouts out to John, bro. He's a fucking legend. Also, he's kind of fucking insane on Twitter, but he's also based. And also, shouts out to whoever made that Viva La Vida edit. That shit's goated. Is it weird that I only know the Minecraft version of that song?
Something, something, I'm gay for penis. Suck on penis, cause I'm a gay bitch. And if this battle should leave me slain, I know Hero Brian would call my name.
It's Hero Brian! There's a thumbnail. The remainder of the week would consist of a camping challenge where the fish would do camping stuff, but indoors, which somehow ended in a hostage situation between Vance and his doppelganger Lance, who is holding Josie's plushies for ransom. This shit went off the fucking rails. After this altercation, Daniel would officially leave the tank for real this time. But by this point, something else has been made very clear. The show would get more and more boring the more we lost contestants. Less people means less interactions, and that's just no fun for anybody. To curb the loss of too many fish too quickly, and to force interactions, some new fish were introduced into the tank not as contestants, but as freeloaders. The first of the freeloaders was Simon, who in name, appearance, and general vibe was very reminiscent of Simmons, but generally speaking was a pretty interesting addition, because this dude was pretty fucking funny. There is a bit where a bunch of fans faked Simon being cancelled online, and Mr. Goldstriker's just showing him, like, without context, just to fuck with him. Now that's some quality gaslighting, I fuck with that. Simon is actually a guy named Ty in real life, and he does stand-up comedy, and it's actually pretty funny. Go check him out. The next freeloader was the aforementioned Lance, who is a doppelganger of Vance. This shit rocked my fucking cock off, since it was like a war for their identity, right? It's like fucking Metal Gear Solid, he's got the solid and the liquid, but they ended on pretty good terms, and it was pretty wholesome at the end.
There can only be one! There can only be one! Come on! There can only be one!
But the third freeloader was completely out of left field, with the introduction of Chris, aka Airsoft Fatty, to the tank on day 21. 21? There is no way in hell that this was not a shot at iDubbbz. It just has to be. Chris would stick around until the very end of the competition, and he was honestly a pretty great addition, even if it is for the complete wrong reasons. Similarly to John, he was the right kind of autistic, but also the right kind of social, so he made for some great interactions with the rest of the fish. He frequently tried to make moves on Letty, and she got tired of it real fucking quick.
It's good to see you up and happy.
Chris, shut the fuck up.
But then come week 4, and yet another new freeloader would arrive. Since the very beginning of the show, there has been a funding goal for the chat. If viewers donated enough money to get this bar to 100%, Frank Hassel, infamous internet provocateur, would enter the tank. And no, I'm not talking about Frank Castle, the Punisher, wait, but rather Frank Hassel, the guy who Boogie fired a warning shot at. This video is getting a little too terminally online. I don't know if this is gonna vibe with the normies. Fans were really looking forward to the addition of Frank, since he is literally known for harassing people, so it seemed like he was really gonna turn this fish tank into a hellhouse. Honestly though, and I'm probably gonna get shit for this, but I honestly thought Frank was a little bit underwhelming. I mean, he obviously did fuck with everybody. There's video evidence of him fucking with everybody. It is fucking hilarious, but I feel like he was holding back a little bit. I feel like he could have gone a little harder, you know? That being said, it is still pretty fucking funny. Also during week 4 came one of the best sagas in the fish tank lore, Poopgate. The camera in one of the bedrooms was down for a brief period of time, during which somebody would sneak in and shit in the closet. This resulted in Jet leading an investigation into who left the shit, and after interrogating the fish, it's eventually revealed through archive footage that it was Frank who made the poop, but it was Letty who planted it via a red Solo cup. This came as a surprise to pretty much nobody, since Frank has absolutely no limits, and Letty has frequently brought up piss and shit completely unprompted. Again, she's definitely got that femcel phenotype, definitely an Isabella Janky type beat, you know what I'm saying?
Chris Chan when he's fucking his mother. I'm working on it.
Yo, season 2, Fish Tank Season 2, you need to get Chris Chan in the tank. We need this. Societally. Week 5 had the fish teaming up for a Blood vs. Crips gang war challenge, which had some very liberal uses of the N-word. A few new freeloaders were added to the tank as well, with the return of Morrow and a doppelganger of Letty named Betty. There was a lot of nudity this week for whatever reason, with Betty flashing her tits in the confessional and Chris just straight up walking his fat ass around naked. Betty was also really comfortable saying the hard R. It was just an all-around pretty funny week. The elimination challenge would come shortly after, with the fish being given a week to study for a PSAT test, with the lowest score being kicked off. This was definitely one of the more boring challenges for sure, but it resulted in Sylvia being kicked from the tank. And now, only 3 fish remain: Letty, Josie, and Vance. We are now on the final week, but on day 36, things would begin to take a pretty depressing turn. This began when Sam Hyde posted a cryptic tweet saying to tune into the show for a special announcement, and this announcement was that the show would unfortunately be ending a few days early. Apparently, the reason was a lack of funding, where donations and fish toy purchases weren't enough to pay for the server costs, so they were forced to end things early, with the producers delegating rewards to the remaining fish. Things looked pretty bleak, with a pretty lousy ending in sight, but then a hero rose from the ashes. Popular streamer and possible transphobe Dr. Disrespect came in clutch by helping fund the show. It was so Jover, but thanks to the doc, we were so back. Then Chris stuck his hand in literal shit. A few days later, Vance would be kicked off after losing a challenge, and we were left with our final 2. The same day that Vance left, the final challenge would begin to decide the winner between Josie and Letty. This challenge was the return of an old challenge, the Cell 2 Roman numeral 2, where the girls would be subject to almost non-stop challenges with arbitrarily changing rules over the course of 4 days. Whoever comes out of it with the most points wins it all. I just fucking pulled some kind of muscle and I'm dying. My arm just fucking shook the whole bitch. This started with the very low-stakes Don't Stop Talking challenge, but quickly evolved to become more and more unhinged, like taking turns punching a fat guy, painting on fat guys, a lot of things involving fat guys for some reason, and ending with a mud wrestling challenge. This was a heated 4 days, especially for me because I was really rooting for Josie to win. I was a real Josie cell, and almost all of the other fish were rooting for her as well. It's like when everybody's giving Goku their energy for the fucking spirit bomb, you know, everybody was counting on her, right?
Josie, you gotta win this shit. You have to.
It was the underdog Josie versus the villain Letty. It literally felt like it was fated to be. But after an arduous 4 days in the cell with over 100 different challenges and everybody basically losing track of how many points each one had, the winner of the final challenge was none other than Josie, who went 3 for 3 in mud wrestling.
I knew she was Jewish.
It seemed like that was all she wrote, but then Mr. Goldstriker came in to deliver the final verdict. But if you know Sam Hyde at all, then you had to have known that there was going to be some shenanigans, you know, some kind of twist, right? Jason Goldstriker would go on an unhinged rant against the viewers, making fun of them for wasting their time watching a live stream and declaring that there is no winner and that the entire show was just a scam. This was obviously a bit, but you just never knew how far they would take it, right? Over the course of 30 minutes, Sam and the producers would run around pretending to figure shit out while the girls packed their things. Then, in an homage to Willy Wonka, Chris convinces Sam to believe in the show once again, inspiring him to give the win to Josie. Everyone in the house gave an emotional speech, and the show was over for real this time. Josie cells stay winning. Real Josie hours. Real Josie cell hours. I'm a real Josie cell. Honestly, I think that Josie winning was probably the best possible outcome, and I'm not just saying that because I was rooting for her from day one. She was always seen as the weakest link of the group, you know, the least social, the least likely to win, but that was what made her the underdog. You know, she wasn't really very talkative at first, just kind of sitting around stimming the whole time, but over time she grew to befriend the other fish, and it was just really wholesome to see her come out of her shell like that. She was the first one in and the last one out, and I think that's pretty fitting. She came into the tank wanting friends, and she left with all of that and more. More being $35,000. Josie has made her mark on internet history by being the first ever winner of fishtanklive, and I cannot wait to see how they bring her back for season 2.
Do you want to be a maid on season 2?
Sure.
Really? And you're not just saying that?
I mean,
You would be down?
yeah.
That would be crazy.
So that was the story of Fish Tank Live, and while I obviously didn't get into every little thing that happened, I tried to cover all of the major sagas as best as I could. It's honestly kind of impossible to recap every little occurrence, since there is so much that goes down in between challenges, you know, a lot of downtime where some mildly funny stuff goes down, and since it's live 24/7, not every moment is going to be captured by the audience. It would require like a fucking Chris Chan-esque documentary's worth of shit just to chronicle every small interaction. You would simply need inhuman levels of autism. But thankfully, the Fish Tank fanbase was so dedicated that people would take to social media to post clips and give constant updates, and I think that's honestly how the series truly shines. You know, it's one thing to watch the actual stream or to have it on in the background or something like that, but obviously you can't be watching it all of the time. You know, some people have lives to get to, right? So it was up to the people with no lives to keep everybody else up to speed. The very nature of the show created a fan community that went far beyond Sam Hyde or MDE. Sam, Jet, and the Fish Tank team had cameramen running around during the big challenges to film things so they could edit down into an actual show, but honestly, I don't think that's really even needed when the stream and fan communities were way more engaging. It's like, Jet, I know you're real busy, you're fucking working yourself to the bone trying to make these fucking episodes, but we don't need them. I'm sorry to say. People watched it because it wasn't like every other reality show, and that's definitely why I stuck with it. I also love how Jet and Sam made it a big point to use the show to help boost the online careers of the contestants. All of the fish were given roles in the upcoming World Peace 2. Many of the fish started up streaming careers using their fame from the show. Sylvia has a band that's starting to pop off, and they've even done a collab with Vance, and John is popping off with his life advice stuff. Even the freeloaders are using it to advance their careers, like Simon with his stand-up or Chris with his YouTube grind. The show became a jumping off point for all of these interesting people to gain a real audience, and I don't think that can be understated. And lastly, I know that Sam and Jet have plans to make this a yearly thing, but I find it kinda hard to believe that they can make this work again. By this point, a large chunk of the internet is aware of the show and what it actually is, so to find contestants who are completely ignorant to Sam and his brand of humor is kind of impossible. This was obviously their first crack at something like this, so there was absolutely no way that the contestants would have any idea what they were getting into, even if they were fans of Sam Hyde already. But now the show is pretty popular and is all over the internet, so any potential future contestants can just Google it and look into it and find out exactly what they're getting into, which completely robs the show of any authenticity. You know, a lot of the appeal of it in the early days was the novelty of it. You know, nothing like this had ever been done before, but people quickly began falling off because after a while, they kind of got the gist. I'm getting the impression that this might have just been lightning in a bottle and that they'll never be able to recreate that original intrigue. But this also opens the door for things to get even crazier in Season 2, and with that, you have my attention. And my erection. Hell yeah, brother. But that has been Fish Tank Live, and I will not hesitate to say that it is one of my favorite internet happenings in the past few years. While most of the original hype definitely did die down after the first couple weeks, I still found myself checking in whenever I had the time because it was just that entertaining, right? When other stuff similar to this came out, like Twitch Plays Pokemon or any other gay shit like that, I fell off pretty quickly, but I was watching Fish Tank until the very end. It was pure chaos in the best way possible, and I cannot wait for Season 2. I would actually love to get involved with this somehow, but I know that it would be a pretty terrible fish because I know exactly what to expect. However, I am also socially retarded, so maybe I have a chance after all. That's all for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, Patreon, all that shit. I've been MattCMG, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
What the spruce?
I'm the little milkman, yes I am. I'm the little milkman, yes I am. Oh, I love it so, I love it so much. I'm the little milkman tonight.
Let's get some pussy tonight.